Hi everyone. After getting familiar with PGM last week, I'm officially starting the development of my game this week. The main character will still be the super weak thief as the starting role. First, I'm going to create the game's entry scene. The story of my game revolves around a magical stone in the universe. This meteorite allows you to swap places with anyone in the universe who has ever touched the same stone. Therefore, in the game, we'll try to collect as many meteorites as possible to tackle various levels. After designing the start screen, it's time to import the scene assets into the game engine. I've placed all the assets into the resource library first, then worked on creating the action for the start game button. I want the button to give a noticeable feedback interaction when pressed. To begin, I created a simple version to ensure the functionality works before refining the details later. This approach suits me better since I'm not that smart. Finally, I managed to successfully create the button interaction. It might not be a big deal, but for me, it's a little exciting. After all, it's my first time making a game, and the joy of building something from scratch made me press the button a few extra times just for fun. Next, I'm working on creating the character selection page. While designing the scene tiles, I initially didn't realize I needed to calculate the tile sizes in advance, which caused the images to not fit perfectly on the screen. After understanding my mistake, I adjusted the images to match the screen dimensions, and finally achieved the desired result. For added effect, I wanted the clouds in the foreground to have some motion, so I created a simple left and right moving animation for them. I'll refine the visuals later to make them more polished, but for now, I think it's fine to keep things simple. As for the character selection buttons, I realized while reviewing my recording that I hadn't captured the process of making them. However, the method is similar to how I created the start game button, so I'll skip explaining it here. You'll see the complete visuals in the gameplay animation later. Next comes my favorite and most exciting part, creating character animations. So far, I've designed 5 animations: running, jumping, crouching, basic attack, and idle. After designing them, I imported the animations into the game engine to set up the character's movements. Since I'm still not very familiar with the functionality, I had to redo it a few times. Luckily, this part is especially fun, and finishing it gives me a strong sense of accomplishment. That kept me patient as I worked through the issues I encountered. The most challenging part was ensuring smooth transitions between actions, like preventing the character from looking slippery when switching animations. I had to repeatedly test and tweak the node connections and cause and effect logic for the tiles. After persistent effort, I finally completed the closed loop system for the player character's actions. It feels pretty good. Enemy character, Goblin. This has been the biggest challenge for me so far. I needed to set up the interaction mechanism between the player and the enemy, particularly the attack system. This includes the Goblin's response to player attacks, the hit feedback, and the animation sequence. I also had to think about how to make the Goblin actively attack the player without it feeling awkward. I created 4 animations for the Goblin: walking, attacking, taking damage, and dying. For the Goblin's behavior, I set the following conditions. When the player gets within a certain distance, the Goblin will actively move toward the player. Once it detects a collision with the player, it triggers its attack animation. That's it. It took me 2 hours to get the basic walking to attacking action done. I hope I'll get more efficient in the future so I can create more mini-games I love at a faster pace. However, this system is still far from perfect. I realized I needed to design some inertia for the Goblin when it takes damage. Otherwise, there's no sense of impact. With this adjustment, it feels much better. Adding a screen shake effect when landing a hit significantly improved the gameplay experience. As for health, my initial testing gave the Goblin way too much HP, which led to me dying repeatedly. See, dead again. That's my development log for this week. Hope you all enjoy it.